those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Hai Ching, and I'm the creative director of TIC Film Festival. We're very pleased today to have representatives of the Gurdwara to come to enlighten us a little bit about the Sikh history in Thurrock. There's quite a long Sikh history, and in fact, it's a very vibrant community here, and a great little temple with wonderful food, a vegetarian food, so tasty, so wonderful, and sometimes go there because they offer it to everybody who comes through their doors on the Sundays. Before I just want to hand it over to. So could I let you be the host, sure. And then you can take it from here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hi. Can you all hear me? Okay. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And to use the Sikh greeting, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We've been requested to provide a small introduction to back up the film that we're going to see today. It's basically to discuss how the Sikhs were settling in Thurrock and how that may be related to what we might see in the film. Basically, how the Sikh DNA allows us to integrate and live within different environments and communities. On stage with us, we have gentlemen who've been in the local area since 1960s, and after my little talk, they will be very happy to answer any questions you might have on any topic with regard to Sikhs settling in Thurrock. So, Sikhs started coming into this area since early 1950s, and with as many problems that other communities had, we were no different, having problems with coping with racism and the National Front issues. Sikhs stood up against this based on holding our principles and our rights. As you will note from the film that will be shown, Sikhs do not hold grudges, but we will also stand up against oppression and generally be one of the first communities to be helping the community. This helps us integrate into the environment in a very friendly and a non-threatening manner. And just sidetracking a little bit from our main topic of Sikhs in Thurrock, Sikhs have a track record of being brave and being a large part of armies in India since 1700s. Our reputation has been acknowledged widely within India and also around the world. A well-documented fact is that even though Sikhs at one time were only 2% of the Indian population, they were 80% of the Indian army. That itself gives a clear indication on the values that Sikhs provide. The film we will see today is just one small part of the many sacrifices Sikhs have made to stand up for what they believe in. And we hope that message will be very clear. So just coming back to our topic, Sikhs have a decent-sized community in Thurrock, and a local Sikh temple that was opened in 1974. For those who have visited, I hope everyone appreciates the warm welcome that they always get. And as Hai Ching mentioned, the free, wonderful vegetarian langar that everyone is welcome to. Sikhs have worked in the local and surrounding areas, and many have built businesses and integrated into the local community using charity means and helping wherever possible. So just to complete my little talk, I'll request all the gentlemen next to me to each introduce themselves and just give you a brief idea on how they have been living in this community and integrated within the community and built up the Sikh temple. So I'll start with the chairman of the Sikh temple, Sardar Baldev Singh Ji, and then we'll follow on to Mr. Daljit Singh ji and finish with Kulwinder Singh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sat Sri Akal to everyone. My name is Baldev Singh Gill, and I'm the president of Sikh Temple. And
is it working? Yeah.
it's working. Yeah. And Sikh Temple is, as Mr. Inderpal saying, is open 1974. And since then, there wasn't that big, but now that all community, Sikh community, all actually put all the effort in to make it nice, looking nice to the Sikh temple. And now we got the growth more. We used to have a few people, but now people are moving in the Shepherd 100, and we have quite few people now. Every weekend, about 200-300 people coming to the Sikh temple, and they're all gathering and have a nice langar, vegetarian, and they're all happy. And since then, I'm in the Sikh temple last 20 years, so I just look after as a president of Sikh temple. So I don't like to say anymore. I'll pass on to Daljit Singh.
Paji, just before you carry on, I think it'll also be good if you can tell everybody what other work you do outside the temple for charity. For example, helping at the local temple, the local hospitals and stuff.
Yeah, we are actually charities yesterday since 2007, I think. 27, and since then we are actually go to the hospitals. Is myself, I've been up to the hospital nearly every 2 weeks to see the patients, because there was a course running chaplaincy, and I passed that. Then I go to the hospital, resident hospital, every after 2 weeks, spend about 2 to 3 hours weekdays, and then Gurdwara is try to provide the food to the people who can't make the food or they need the food. That will be on the line. And then same time, it says Gurdwara is a charitable for everyone, free food, free kitchen. It's no collection for that, but anybody can come into the Sikh temple, have a nice food, but the preparing of that day. Okay, thanks very much.
Okay.
All the audience, can you hear me?
Yes.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. For those of you who do not know what I've just said, this is the Sikh greeting from our religious side, which talks about God is the greatest power, and be success and power be given to God. So we respect God in that aspect. The other greeting that we have is called Sat Sri Akal, again, which talks about God being great, always based on the divinity side of things. Sikh community in Thurrock, from what I've understood, I myself moved into Thurrock back in late 1990s when an area of Shepherd 100 was being developed, and so we moved over there. And what we've seen is demographically there's been sort of a big change in the area, where lots of Sikhs have moved from East London into Thurrock. From what I've heard from various colleagues who've been here for a lot longer than I have, I've heard situations when they moved in back in 1950s. Life was very, very difficult. Obviously, like with any immigrant, when they move into a country, one, it's a new place altogether. Secondly, the local communities are always wary and about who are these people wearing turbans, also brown colored skin or whatever. some of them, they didn't even mean it as a racial intent, but it was like just the caution bit was there, and it was always a case of keep away from them. It took Sikhs a long time to actually integrate with rest of the Thurrock community. But what has happened is, like with any community, when they move over to any place, initially the community itself unites together. They live together, they make sure they're looking after each other. And this is where the religious element came into play, because Sikhs are very, very divine orientated. They believe, sincere belief in one God. And we always sort of like pray to God. We make sure that at least once a week the community gets together. And in the early days before we had our Sikh temple, people used to hold prayers in their own houses. They would have our Holy Guru Granth Sahib Ji in the house, and they would hold the prayer sessions there. As time passed, Sikhs began to sort of like find work around, sort of like, and they begin to settle down. Community then got together, and people sort of like joined hand, joined finances, and we had our initial Sikh temple opened in 1974, as Indipal just mentioned. And since then, we've made sure that Sikhs are showing the true teachings of our Sikh gurus. And also, lately, back in sort of like late 17th century, one of our Guru Gobind Singh Ji actually made sure that we would not, under any circumstances, entertain or accept any oppression of any sort, nor be it being sort of like oppression on others, those who can't defend themselves. It's been drummed into every Sikh that you must look after your own rights and also stand up for the rights of others. The film that you're about to watch will show you parts of that belief, that understanding, and we stand our ground regardless of what kind of opposition we are facing. Historically, we've had situations where sort of like we've had only a handful of Sikhs fighting a major part of an army and succeeding. We've had a situation back in 1704 when in a place called Chamkor, there was only 46, 40, and on the other side, the Mughal army had about 100,000 people. And the Sikhs actually fought with them, and they frustrated them to the army to an extent that the army just walked away, saying it's a waste of time, we can't get anywhere with these people. Similarly, this film that you're about to watch, this is about Saragri. This is about a castle which was defended by 21 Sikhs. And the oppressors that came from Afghanistan, they were sort of like about 100,000 plus. We've got a common sort of like saying from our Sikh Guru, saying, I will make my Sikhs strong enough that the one Sikh can fight with 125,000 people and stand his ground till death. That's the kind of community that we come from. As Indipal mentioned about sort of like, it's in our blood to defend our country, our people. 80% of Indian army is made of Sikhs. And now if you look around the world, you find sort of like places like Canada, places like the United States, and also Australia, where sort of Sikhs are becoming very prominent. And they're joining the army, air force, navy, wherever the sort of like there's need for defense, Sikhs will be there. That is in our blood. And Sikhs are known to defend anybody and everybody. We hold sessions for the kids, and I always tell the children, so like, one of the reasons why we wear our turban is that we can be seen in a large group of people. If anybody needs help from a Sikh, this turban is a signal saying that man can be trusted, I can go for help from him. And that is true. You are welcome, anybody and everybody, regardless of color, race, creed, or indeed belief. A Christian, a Muslim, or Buddhist, or any other religion, they are welcome to our temple. They can pray to God. Our only sort of stipulation is that you must believe in Almighty God with all sincerity. As long as you're doing that, you pray to God anywhere, you can come to our temple and you can pray, and we will welcome you with open arms. The free langar, the food that Hai Ching mentioned, and it started with our third guru, who said that there's need for equality, there needs for sharing whatever that you've got with all the others. Some of them might not be able to afford, but you sit together, you eat together, and you sit on the floor or wherever in equality. Whether you're a king or a pauper, you sit right next door to each other, right next to having your food. When you come to our temple, you'll observe that some Sikhs are there. They will sit next to each other, enjoy their food. They will enjoy the prayer ceremony every Sunday. You're welcome to our place, and I'm sure our management committee members who are always there, they'll be able to provide you with more knowledge. Yours truly, if I'm around, I'll be able to sort of like help you or guide you or give you more information about Sikh community. Sikhs have integrated within this community well, to the extent that even sort of like on the 11th of November, the Remembrance Sunday, Sikhs represent our community, and we lay a wreath for the dead, those who died in the army fighting wars. We respect those soldiers who gave their lives. That's the kind of community that Sikh community is in total, and that's how the Thurrock community lives. So at this stage, I'll just pass you on to Mr. Kulwinder Singh, our secretary. He'll just say a few words, and after that, we are open to questions from yourselves.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kulwinder Singh Devgan, and Sat Sri Akal to you all. Thank you, Daljit Singh Flora. Thank you, Baldev Singh Ji, Inderpal Paji. What we are gathered here today to watch this movie, and about 21 Sikhs, which we all the panel has talked about, and it's the sheer bravery these guys did have, fighting against 10,000 Mughals or 10,000 Afghanis, and when they are surrounded by anybody else, they would have ran. They would have found a sort of window saying, we cannot defend ourselves against that many people. There's a certain death there. Well, Sikhs are, as my fellow panelists, they have told us, or we've been brought up or made to believe that Sikh does not run. If there is a reason to fight, and you hold your ground, we hold our ground, we don't run, and we stand or make our stand, and that's why we take our stand and fight. So that's what we believe in. That's what our Guru's teachings are, and fight for justice. And if there is any injustice been done to somebody else, and stand up for those people as well. It's not just for fighting for yourself, fighting for others as well. Sikh men and women, and we share equality, and we don't discriminate in that sense, like it's a woman or it's a man. It's equality amongst women, and it's the first religion. Sikhism is like out of all bigger religions, we are, so to say, fifth religion in the world, and even though we are maybe 1% of the whole world's population, Indian population, we are just under 2%, and again, the third largest religion we are in India, and outside we are like outside in the world we are the fifth largest, and the belief it's in that religion is like now we have women and men made they are equal. There's no differentiation between like now you can't discriminate against women. That these are the beliefs we've been drummed into, brought up. Everyone knows, like so now equality is there. And again, like a langar, we were my fellow panelists have told. We have free langar at the Gurdwara, and that was started our third guru to make everybody equal. So nobody like sitting here in the panel. No, we have Mr. Flora. He's a accountant, and Baldev Singh ji. He's a business owner, and behind the scene, we all are something doing something. Could be somebody is a king. What Guruji done was at that time just to stop that, discriminating each other, like, oh yeah, I'm king, you are lower than me, you can't sit with me. So that langar started, and in that langar, if you are going in there, the discipline was you got to, before you go to worship, you must feed yourself, fill your stomach up, feed your hunger, get rid of your hunger first, so you're more, ease at your mind, and then you can sit in the prayer or in the prayer room or pray better. And also when you are sitting in the pangat or in a line, and everybody is served same food equally to as you are sitting in a row, no discrimination there, like so you are sitting next to a king or queen, no discrimination, no any favoritism there, like the king gonna get something special for him, or so that's what the langar is about. And Sikhs in the community of the Thurrock, probably I'm the youngest or the newcomer in Thurrock. I came here in 2002, September 2002. It's coming 17 years, or 18 it'll be next month, or end of the month, in fact. My Paji, he just started.
I'm slightly older than you.
Yes, slightly older, 1 month, yeah. So basically we almost came, just found out about 2 minutes ago, before we were sitting there, just talked about like, how long you been here, how long you been here. So this is what Gurdwara brought us together. And professionally, I'm in construction, and like Paji, he's a accountant. We hardly will see each other because his profession takes him somewhere. My profession is somewhere else. Like we will never get to see each other. But the Gurdwara, what is done or does to us, it brings everybody together. All walks of life. Like people who are could be doing, they are doctor. They never come out. You only have to make an appointment to see that doctor, unless you are, or if you are his or her patient. But you won't otherwise see him. But what Gurdwara does to us, we all get together there, and we all get to know each other, and this is how you grow together. So that's the Sikhism. That's what we are here for. If there are any questions, and we will be open after this. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm going to pass it back to Indrapal Paji. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Yeah, just before we go to the question and answers, I think Baldev Singh Ji has one comment to make.
Is in a Thurrock. The first time I come in 1962 in July to see my village fellow living in Grays. But it's a lot changing since then, to now is Grays was very quiet, particularly at that time, not many people. And when you go to the pub, you see hardly people. But now is people moving in, and this make a great job. The Gurdwara, when they bought, I wasn't there, but the people who living here since 1950s onwards, and they work hard for the Gurdwara. And they put that together donation to get the Gurdwara in 1974. But thanks to those people who make the effort to buy the Gurdwara, and that's why we are together today, because our Gurdwara is a community center really, to see each another face and talk to each another and find how the people each another. But that's the main things, is get together. As Sikh and Singhs, they are very hard people working. They, when they any fight like against country or whatever, they never step back. They always put their foot forward. And the people who living here 1950s, 60s, could be middle of 60s, they got a lot problem from the other people. But they are stick together to keep them up and always put their foot forward to keep going on. That's where we are today. Thanks to those people. Thank you.
Can I just add a bit more? Just on behalf of the Sikh community and the management committee and the holding trustees of the Sikh temple, we are here by sort of giving you an open invitation. You're welcome to attend the temple anytime you feel like, especially on Sundays when you'll find the congregation are there. We are a very friendly race. You will find somebody will be there to help you out or answer your questions or whatever. One proviso there, though, Sikhs do not go to the temple under the influence of alcohol or non-prescriptive drugs. We do not take drugs, and we do not entertain anybody who is under the influence of that. So if at any stage somebody is under the influence of any of those, I would humbly request refrain. But when you are sober, you're welcome anytime, and we will tell you a lot more about Sikhism. And also, if you do need any more information about Sikhism, then I'm sure there's a lot more on the internet that you can learn from. But our Sikh temple will be able to guide you or help you any which way that you guys need help on, or you need terms of more information about. Back to Indipal.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Just before we go to questions, I just want to ask Hai Ching, how much time do we have? Looks like we don't. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish here. We'll finish here, and if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to catch any one of the members in their time. Right. Thank you very much for your time.
Or failing that, if there's any questions, burning questions that you have, you can always write in to us, and we promise that we will try to find an answer and provide it to you. Okay? We must thank you very much for the time that you've given us.
Thank you, everybody.
Waheguru
Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.